All right, welcome along to the podcast. We've been away for a little while. I'm not even going to apologise for this nonsense anymore. It is what it is. I drop the ball far too many times and keeping these podcasts regular, but here's hoping that we're back. So let's get started. Hey, so welcome to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart, and we're getting into Paranormal Activity 4 in this episode. Now, I'm having a pretty decent time with these movies here. Great trilogy so far up to this point, but I do have to say, this is probably the one where it started to lose a little bit of traction for me. This is a fairly good film, but it gets a little bit boring for me at this one. But obviously, still a cash cow. The budget for this was $5 million, and at the box office, it made $142.8 million. So popular movies, but for me, it was just getting, I don't want to say a little bit played out by this stage. You're always looking forward to seeing how they're going to swap up the way that they're, it's all found footage at the end of the day, these movies. So you're looking forward to seeing how they're going to go about actually recording everything that happens in the movie. So this one here is a mix between cell phone footage, computer, laptops, webcams, and a tasty little effect that they used on. I'm blanking on the name of the Nintendo Wii, I want to say. You shut off the lights, the cameras can pick up the dots that the computer uses to track the movements of the human body. So there's some very good visual effects as far as that goes. So pretty much as far as the plot goes in this one, you get like a flashback to what happened at the end of Paranormal Activity 2, October 9th, 2006. Christy Ray and her husband, they're killed by a demon-possessed Kitty, who then abducts Christy's 1-year-old son, Hunter. The only survivor was Ali, Danielle's daughter, who was on a school trip at the time, and the police were still unable to find Kitty and Hunter. So we kick forward to November 2011. Alex Nelson's living in a wealthy suburb in Henderson, Nevada, with her father, Doug. Now, I'm taking it like it's been a while since I watched this film. As I say, I was kind of losing traction for me at this point. So I take it that Alex is the adopted daughter of, obviously, this is where Kitty comes back into it because of the connection there. So they're living in Nevada. Her mother Holly, 6-year-old brother Wyatt. Alex records footage on a laptop webcam before her and her boyfriend Ben set up cameras all over the house after a lot of strange occurrences are happening. So I'm just going across notes briefly here as far as this film goes. Of course, as you know, through these movies, it starts to escalate over time. Objects like chandeliers, kitchen knives, family car, garage doors becoming like you've got mind of their own. There's a good bit on here where she's trapped in the garage and the car turns itself on, and she almost gets suffocated by the exhaust. There's a neighbour. There's a son called Robbie who stays at the Nelson's house while his mother is hospitalised. So this is Katie and Hunter that are living in this house. Spoilers. So she disappears for a bit. She gets the top billing in this film, obviously because of who she is, but screen time for her in this film is not much at all. So yeah, Wyatt is telling Alex about Robbie's imaginary friend Toby. We all know who this is. It's the demon Toby. Alex finds Robbie in the closet saying he doesn't like you watching us. Wyatt also tells Alex and Ben about meeting him, revealing a green symbol on his back identical to the ancient Haiti symbol, one that would prepare a victim for demon possession. So they're after this kid, essentially, in this. They do their research, of course, and they learn that the possession ritual requires a virgin blood sacrifice, which leads to a few jokes, as I would be inclined to do in that scenario. You know, you always pick up that one mate that's like, well, you're safe then. That's what happens in this movie as well. It's then revealed that Robbie's mother is actually Katie. She tells Wyatt that he and Robbie were adopted, and as all our family needs him back, he argues with an unseen, unheard presence about his true name, declaring, "My name is not Hunter." As the months go past, there are even more unusual activities, such as Wyatt going into a trance and levitating. Alex one night, a possessed Katie sneaks into the house and tells Wyatt she'll wait until he is ready. Alex tries to show her parents the footage, but it was mysteriously erased. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie that could have done with a little bit more explanation. Now, I know it's all found footage, essentially, it's done in that style, so you need to allow for the fact of things not just maybe lining up all together. It's just after really watching it a couple of times and kind of making your own mind up as the way things goes. The next day, while Doug and Alex are out, Holly is violently thrown against the ceiling. This is coming up into the final moments of the movie. So whenever this does kick off, it's 88 minutes long. The most of that action takes place in the last 4 minutes of the movie. But when it's done well. It's very, very well choreographed and shot, the whole 9 yards. So she is killed. Ben visiting the home to inform Alex about the symbol's relation to a coven. He's got his neck snapped by Kitty, which was, I'm not going to say it was graphic, but that head turned a little bit further than I was expecting it to. So yeah, right. Alex and Doug arrive home at night after dinner, and Doug goes next door believing he saw Holly and Wyatt. Alex finds Ben's body in the house and is suddenly knocked down by an unseen force and dragged out of the room. She flees to Katie's home and finds Doug, the father, been dragged through the house out of sight. So she's searching for him when she hears Wyatt's voice calling for her, before demonic Katie runs towards her in the hallway. A lot of makeup on her here with the possessed face and everything. Alex escapes from Kitty by jumping through a window into the yard of the house, where she finds Wyatt and a crowd of women walking towards her. She attempts to flee, but Kitty appears behind her. The camera falls to the ground, the footage is cut off, implying that Alex had been killed at the end of the movie. So it's, again, this movie is pretty damn good when watching it for the first time, but as far as the paranormal activity goes in the movie, I think there's some stuff in there that is incredibly subtle. Like if you haven't seen this movie, and I've completely destroyed it for you at this point, if you haven't seen it, and you don't take your eyes off it for a second, because there is some stuff in there, like, the first time around, I like to use the social media test on a movie. If a movie can keep me away from social media, I'm not flicking through my phone, that's a good movie. But if I, like, if I start to lose a little bit of interest, I'll always, no matter how bad a movie is, generally I'll make it through to the end of it. But if it does get to the point where I kind of lift my phone and start scrolling notifications and whatnot, it's probably not the best movie in the face of the planet. But having said that, the first time around watching this, I was guilty of that. And there's a few little things in there as far as the Paranormal Activity goes that you will miss if you're not paying close attention. Very, very subtle in places. And, the second time around watching it, as I say, like the first time, I was kind of like watching the movie, looking away to my phone, back up, and I would have missed something happening in there. But then the second watch through, you caught what you missed the first time around, and the chills went right up the back of my neck whenever I finally seen it. So, well worth checking out, well worth keeping a close eye on everything that's going on within this movie. For me, probably out of the four so far, probably in my humble opinion, probably the weakest of the four. But it is what it is. You can take my opinion on it. I would rather you went and watched the movie yourself and just enjoy these episodes for what they are. At the end of the day, make up your own opinion on any of the movies and shows that I talk about in this channel. That's just the way I feel about them. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. We all have different tastes in life. You may think this is the best movie ever made, and you might think it's the best movie out of the four so far, but for me, it kind of dragged a little bit too far in places, and could have definitely done with a little bit of an extra trim here and there, but definitely one worth checking out. Right, that's going to do it for this episode, I think. If you want to contact the show, you can do via email, Hellmouth Hotline at gmail.com. How can you forget your own email whenever the email is essentially the name of the damn show? You can contact me directly via Hellmouth Hotline. Let me know what you think about the show, what I can do better, what I can tighten up on, any extra info that you would feel a bit more beneficial than what I'm sharing so far on the reviews. It's all good. Let me know. The only other thing I would like to ask of you, if you're still here at this point, is to check out the website, coinsagemedia.com. That is where you'll find absolutely everything else I'm doing beyond the show. So until the next episode, guys, stay safe, and I will talk to you all then. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.